What's up YouTube? My name is Steven. I'm here with an FSX tutorial. This is going to be my first tutorial video. This is going to be over the basics. As you see, I'm in a Cessna, no airliner, as usual. You guys been seeing from my other videos. I've been getting a lot of requests to do this, so do the basics because people don't really know how necessarily to fly. So I'm going to just give you start out with the basics, then we'll move our way up, So right now we're sitting in a Cessna 172 Skyplane right here. So let's go to the outside so you guys could, there we go. So you guys could see it's just a smaller plane. This is a trainer. This is the aircraft I do fly in the real world. I absolutely love it. It's a fun airplane. It's very forgiving. But it's very easy to fly, so that's why I'm going to be using it. Right now, the airport that I'm at is actually my home airport in Denver. It's actually called Centennial Airport, and the code on that is KAPA, so Kilo Alpha Papa Alpha, if you guys ever want to go fly there. Currently, I'm sitting where it would be the Flights Ramp, which is the rental company I use down in Denver. I'm going to just go over the basics right now, so we'll just go over some instruments, then we'll taxi over, just do a touch and go or so, and come back down and park. So let's take a look at the inside of the cockpit. First thing, here's your instruments right here. Right here, these are the ones we're going to worry about. This is called the 6-pack right here. We don't need to worry about our necessarily these instruments yet. These are our navigation instruments. We really don't want to use these very much at all when we're going over the basics, because this is technically a private pilot, so we're using visual flight rules. We don't really use instruments. So here's the 6-pack right here. Right here we have the airspeed indicator as shown. This shows your airspeeds in knots, not miles per hour, and a knot is about 1.1 miles an hour. So you're going a slight bit faster than what it's actually shown. You're going a slight bit faster in knots than you are in miles per hour. Here's your attitude indicator. This tells you where your plane is. This little orange thing right here. Corresponding to the horizon, which is that white line. Blue's the sky, brown's the ground. You want to be blue is good, brown is bad. And here is your altimeter. And right now our altimeter is actually off. It should be showing. Should we just get it perfect? There we go. So as altimeter, we use a right here, as you can see, is where our altimeter setting is. So right now, actually I could probably pull up the weather. What is it? 120.3. Yeah. So we'll go over here. This is our radio stack, and we'll go over and we'll tune the frequency 120.3, and we'll switch that to our active, and there is our information for the airport. So it's information Zulu, and it gives you a time in Zulu time. So that's 0 time. So that's I think it's 6+ hours right now in mountain time. Winds are 030 at 1 at 5 knots. And let's see, it tells you sky information, temperature, dew point, altimeter is 3023. And our actives are 35 right and runway 35 left. So let's get out of that. That's important information, but right now we won't really go into much detail with that other than getting the winds in the active runway. So right now winds are really calm, and altimeter is 3023, so we're showing about right there. That's the airport elevation. I think this is actually off. Our airport elevation should be about 6'8" in the real world. I don't know why, it's just probably FSX being weird. And here is our turn slip coordinator. This is very important. I'll show you what it does in a minute, but it helps keep your plane coordinated. You'll need this in stalls, most importantly, so it prevents you from going into a spin, which is very bad. You never want to get into those situations. Right here we have our heading indicator. This runs off a vacuum gyro, so it's not magnetic. Right there, as you can see, this one is magnetic. this one is run off a gyro. You get your initial reading from the compass and you input it into the gyro, because whenever you're climbing, descending, turning, stuff like that, this is unreliable. It does crazy things to you and you don't trust it in that situation. The only time you should be using this is straight level unaccelerated flight, is when you should be using this compass in the air to correct this. So right now it's looking to be tuned up alright. It's already default set by the flight simulator, so we don't have to worry about that. This is our vertical speed indicator. This tells you how fast you are climbing or descending by 5. So these are, every tick mark is 100 feet, and what those represent is if you're going up 500 feet, you're going up. So every minute you will climb 500 feet. Vice versa, if you're going descending 500 feet a minute, you're going to lose 500 feet a minute. So that's your vertical speed indicator right there. And here is your RPMs for your engine. So this would be, we're at 1100 right now. We're a little bit above idle, but that's alright. Once again, this is our radio stack. So that's the information at the airport. So that's where you get what we refer to the information. The information is like weather. So it'll be assigned to you, but we'll go over that in greater detail in the next tutorial. Then you have your standby communications 2, communications 1. Right now we're on COM 1. Here is your nav 1. So for navigation, this goes up here. This number links right here to there, and by that sorry, I had to clear my throat. And nav 2 goes to here. And this is our non-directional beacon, automatic direction finder right here, which goes to this. This is our transponder code. This is very important that you need to know. This is 1200 is the VFR transponder code, otherwise assigned by air traffic control. This is very crucial that you have 1200 in there, unless assigned by the air traffic controller, because this tells them that you are a visual flight rules, VFR flight. So whenever I refer to VFR, visual flight rules. So we are keeping our eyes out of the airplane 70% of the time, 30% of the time. 70 outside, 30 inside. And this is our autopilot features down here. We don't need to worry about that. So right now we just got the weather information. It's shown about 036 at 5. So we're going to actually be taxiing all the way back there for runway 35. The reason we're doing this, we always take off and land into the wind. You never take off with a tailwind or land with the tailwind, otherwise assigned by air traffic control. There is certain exceptions, but I'm not willing to go into those. But just keep that in mind. You always want to land, take off into the wind. So, and whenever you refer to 030, they're always on a magnetic compass. So when it's saying winds are 030 at 030 at 5, that means the wind is coming from this direction. It's blowing in like that at 5 knots right there. So we got a slight right quarterly crosswind. So vice versa, if we had winds out 210 at 5, we would be taking off runway 17. And the way you find these runway headings, you could go to, let's see, world map. You could go into here and zoom all the way in. It'll show you runway numbers. So that's up here, 17 left, so that's the left side. This is the right side. Of course, this is when you're facing south. You'll be looking at them, and 35 right and 35 left right here. So right side, left side. They also do have center, so 35C, but there's no center at Centennial, so we don't have to worry about that. There is also runway 10 and 28. We don't need to worry about those. We're going to taxi down to runway 35 right though, and we'll get ready for takeoff. So without further ado, back in the cockpit. Yeah, it's kind of funky with that control. You kind of have to get to your lights, but whenever you're starting your airplane, you always want to have your beacon on. Let them know that your engine's alive, that you're there, that you're going to be moving momentarily or are moving, you know. So always keep that right here. a beacon light on at all times whenever you're about to start the engine or have the engine on. You have your landing light, taxi light, navigation, and right under here is your strobe light. So that this will be used in flight when you're on the runway, whenever you're taxiing, and navigation lights can be on at all times. You should just have those on at all times because you want to make yourself visible to everyone. You don't want to just be sitting out there, be like, hey, I'm just trying to be invisible. No, you want to be as visible as you possibly can so no one crashes into you. You always got to worry about that. So without further ado, let's begin our taxi. For just to keep it kind of simple, we're not going to deal with air traffic control today. So I'm going to give myself taxi instructions. So we're going to actually taxi out via Alpha 2. I'll explain the taxi signs to you. So Alpha 2 down taxiway Alpha to Alpha 16. We won't be using the full length runway because you only really need about probably less than 3,000 feet to get this bird off the ground, even less. I've done it in less in my airplane. So as you can see, that taxi sign right there says A2 and A. So that is referred to as Alpha. So it goes Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, all the way down the list. It's the phonetical alphabet. All air traffic controllers use it. So whenever we're saying our call sign, which is right here, we're going to say November 760 Papa Lima. You always use phonetics. You never say N760 PL. It's always November 76 Papa Lima. Or if you're really good, you're the aircraft type, like this is a Skyhawk of 172, you could be like Skyhawk 760 Papa Lima. It just helps, it's easier whenever you're getting onto that call sign, And let's see, close window. Sorry about that. It's just easy for the air traffic controllers to identify you with Skyhawk instead of November, because November is very common. It starts out on all American registered tail numbers. It starts with an N number. So right here, though, in black, that means you're at. So right now we're at Alpha 2, and taxiway Alpha is right in front of us, so that's this taxiway right here. And it goes left or right. We're going to be taxiing down to 35 right, which is going to be down that way. So we're going to take a left turn on Alpha. And normally the controller sometimes will maybe not say left on Alpha, right on Alpha. Sometimes they'll just say Alpha 2, Alpha 16. They expect you to know it. And you always have a map. I don't know how to insert one just yet, but they normally have a map. You could pull up and look how to do that on look it up on a map, so whenever they say it, you could be like, oh, that's where I need to go. But right now I don't know how to get a map up on here, so we're going to continue taxiing down to the end of the runway. Taxi speed defined by the Federal Air Administration, so the FAA, is called a fast walk. You could do a little bit faster, but you really shouldn't go full throttle down the taxiway. That's a major no-no. So we're just going to be doing what they do is they call us a fast walk. So we're just going to be taxiing down here, making sure there's no traffic in our way. If anyone's out there trying to get onto the taxiway, we have the right-of-way. Since we're taxiing on Alpha, they have to wait for us to pass. Otherwise, unless assigned by the air traffic controller to pull in front of you, they'll let you know that. But right now, I have the right away because I'm not cutting off anyone unless assigned by the air traffic controller, unless someone else is trying to get off the active runway. That is crucial because they have the right of way over you. It's very difficult on the right of ways. I'll get into that with actually. I'll go into the rule book. I do have the rule book here. I'll get into that later on in later tutorials, but we're just doing a brief overview, which seems to be doing a little bit more than a brief overview, but what you need to know to get flying. So that's what we need to know. So right now we have right of way over all traffic because there is no traffic right now. But if, like, say if someone's coming out right here, and they needed more room to get off the threshold line, you would give them the right of way because they need to get off the runway. So the next guy on a approach or